speaking of fear, then,
Yeah.
do we have reasons? Do we have like a proper reason to fear something like CERN? Do you think, like a lot of people look at CERN like me and say that maybe it's not so good to be playing God with this giant machine, and they actually looking for what they call the God particle. Are these valid concerns that people have?
Well, you see, I was in charge of the typologies of outbreak, and there are four typologies. One is infectious, and it can be zoonotic or bacterial virus. It's not just a virus. It's crazy. But then there was a foodborne. That can be salmonella, anything you can get sick of, which can be, that's probably what is happening also now, or water. And then there's chemical, and then there is radionuclear.
Mm.
And why I say this, because what was your
I was
question?
asking if we have valid.
I was going into, wait, what was your
I
question?
was
I'm going to
asking.
get back into
Oh,
it with your
it's all
question.
good. I was asking about if
Oh
is it
yeah,
okay
I
for valid
remember.
concerns
Yeah,
for CERN?
so so our radionuclear exercise, we invited CERN. We had this speaker for the lecture I was organizing in WHO for a week for the American students, and then I asked the question. I said, "Well, you are dealing with subatomic. Could you tell the students, what are the dangers of what you are doing in CERN?" And he said, "Oh, no, 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 there is absolutely no danger." I said, "Yeah, come on, there could be a risk, no? You know, and so risk assessment is never zero
Right.
in
Never.
anything."
Right.
But of course, he said zero risk.
Mm.
And I actually found out, and as I was even preparing this program now, because I try to update myself, there's so much stuff
Hmm.
that actually there are a lot of people in Geneva who have gone against the CERN many times,
Interesting.
fearing for their health, for
Interesting.
explosion, and especially because in 2018, no, was it? Yeah, in 2018, there was an explosion in the CERN with lightning, and there are pictures that I did not send you yet,
Oh,
but
whoa.
next time.
Yeah.
And this lightning made the CERN stop and close from
Whoa.
2018 to 2021. The CERN was closing some of their departments.
Interesting.
So people said that they don't want CERN anymore there. And so there is a population a consciousness that it is not healthy. And I have been asking if there were more cancers around CERN than any other place. And of course, they say no, but we could certainly do a correlation analysis if we had the right data.
Wow. I hadn't even considered the local issues that people could be having because of CERN. When CERN first got on my radar was in 2008-ish, maybe a little before, and there was that lawsuit which seemed absurd, but it registered with me because there were physicists suing it. Maybe you remember, there were physicists suing CERN because they believed CERN smashing particles together at nearly the speed of light would create microscopic black holes. And that the microscopic black holes, and this is what the lawsuit said, would devour Earth or turn the Earth into, the quote was, a sphere of strangeness. And this went before a judge. I believe it was in Hawaii because one of the people suing, one of the scientists is in Hawaii. And obviously CERN won. But the argument was mostly agreed upon on both sides, CERN's people and the people against CERN. But the answer at the end was the black holes are not a threat. But everyone agreed they are creating microscopic black holes that will just fall to the center of gravity and be useless. The people suing CERN in their argument said those black holes could amass. And it was just such an absurd thing to think about. And I had never thought about anything like that before. I've heard of super colliders, but it was in the news. Not that that means it's true, but there were people in the news with very real fears about the world being swallowed by a black hole. So that was always where like my mind started with CERN. Like, why are we even doing that? I understood they'll tell us they want to find the Higgs boson particle, which they call the God particle, because they want to understand, like you say, and I agree with the sentiment, understanding life, like what is going on here, what is all this stuff. But there's something to me like nefarious about trying to recreate what they call the Big Bang beneath Geneva. So do you live somewhere near that area?
Um, well, Geneva is very small. I mean, you have the picture behind me of Geneva.
Right,
Uh, you can cross the city in 30 minutes,
right.
and I can be at CERN in 20 minutes.
Wow,
Uh, but I am more near the United Nations. I'm actually just beside the High Commissioner of Human Rights. I see the flag of the UN and the Mont Blanc
wow,
every morning when I
wow.
wake up. And I'm 10 minutes walk from United Nations and WHO,
That's
15
crazy.
minutes.
So,
But
so
CERN, I'm going by, and each time I go by, I'm like, what the heck is going on in there? Because now they have made new pictures. I mean, you can type CERN and people can see that they made two, big um, tubes, huge tubes. It makes an H.
oh,
So
weird.
I wonder if there is anything symbolic with these two big tubes
Huh.
where people can get in. It shocks me because I was going there when I was organizing the UN Open Day because we were inviting the CERN and also for other events that I helped to organize scientifically. I was with the head of communication and met them. So when I went to the CERN, I was not impressed at all. I thought it was such an old, lousy buildings.
Right.
What are those scientists doing in there? Like if they had no luxury, nothing. It was very strange feeling. And also when you want to go and visit, there is very little information.
Hmm.
I said, it can't be just that. I mean, are they joking or something? And now there is more.
Right.
Now suddenly they are disclosing that they are doing all this type of research on wormholes, black holes, change of time and space. I mean, officially,
Yes.
uh, Big Bang. Yes, the boson of Higgs, and I don't know what neutrinos, and the smallest of the smallest. And of course, nobody understands.
Right.
So we're just living in a world of signals.
So
So
true.
they can say whatever they want.
Right. How do you peer review the invisible?
Sorry.
How do you peer review the invisible? Like if there's people outside of CERN that want to look at the stuff they're looking at, putting in quotes for people listening, how do you look at that? Because they can look at all the things, the steps they've taken to get to whatever their result is. But if you can't see the result, what does that mean to anyone else who wants to actually study it, who might have that, background in science?
Yes, exactly. So it's the measurement, and the measurements depend on devices, like for carbon 14,
Hmm.
carbon 14, yeah, 14, for history, marking history. I mean, I was challenging historians, so I can't fight against that, but I can at least say that the devices have to be questioned today, and they can tell anything they want. Maybe the whole thing is like the NASA, and how the genomic everything the smallest, the
Right.
biggest, the macro and the micro
Yes.
we could be in an illusion,
Oh yeah.
complete illusion. And it's good to question that. And I like to do question,
Same.
to re-question everything. So it looks like they are doing other things and they pretend, and it's not they look like, they are admitting themselves. So, we have proofs. But it's this invisible methodology. There are a lot of consequences to that
Yeah.
because I'm a lot into frequency medicine
Mm.
because we are bioelectromagnetic, because our heart beats, and it is actually not round, it's a muscle, and it beats, and we have a mind that is electromagnetic.
Yep.
And so if we have too much electricity around us, it interferes with our heart. This is why we are actually very worried about all the 5G, Wi-Fi, smart
Yep.
cities, and stuff like that. And it is exactly the same with this energy. We can't see it. And if they told us the truth, we probably, like with the genome, much more powerful than they are showing us, because they're so deceptive. So we have an algorithm with what is going on, and the algorithm is to use wrong words for the wrong reality, and then they give the wrong solution and the
Right.
wrong device, like the PCR, to make us believe something, and they're actually doing something completely different. And it's very puzzling to read, go through their website and see that they have Alice
Yes.
They have the Alice project, like Alice in Wonderland. So they
Exactly.
want to go in the. So they use words that are very strange, and
Symbolic.
you go okay, and then it gets more and more complicated. And now they want to do a collidron loop.
Yep.
It is 27 kilometers, and now they want to do 91
Yep.
kilometers. They say it's not enough. We have to just get the collision between the subatomic particles. Okay, we can imagine that it's correct, that it's possible, but how can we verify anything? It's really it's very puzzling.
Oh, I find it very puzzling. For 1 second, I want to put CERN on the shelf. You talked about frequencies. Do you know anything about cymatics? Do you know about that?
Yeah, that it's actually very good because cymatics is an evidence that the forms are with this. Maybe we should have to explain to people listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we talk about the same, you see this,
Yeah.
yeah, the sand going on a plate, and then you put a frequency, and it creates a geometrical form,
Mm-hmm.
harmonious.
Yes.
And yes, of course, this for me it's very nice because you can also see it with fire. You know, if you send certain vibes of certain frequency of fire, then the fire behaves in a certain way.
Mm.
And I think it's very good for people who don't believe in the power of frequency to see
Yes.
that the cymatic works. Go and type cymatic, and you will see it's very nice. And it also links with sacred geometry.
Yes.
You know, I'm taking lectures now with experts on sacred geometry and frequency in all ways to activate portals, activate menhirs, dolmens,
Whoa.
and to go in sacred cathedrals. There are lots in France.
Right.
That's why I think it's the country the most attacked, because there are lots of beautiful geometric cathedrals. So the harmony of a form has a resonance, and this resonance can heal you.
Mm.
So no wonder they want to break everything beautiful. They don't want us to have a nice frequency.
Exactly.
And so it is not only frequency is everything we're living. And there is hypothesis, but I think it is a reality, that our genome is actually a frequency. It's actually a resonance. For everything we think, we do resonates, and our genome is just expressing this in a time lab.
That's interesting.
I think that makes complete sense.
Wow.
So it is not only cymatics, it is colors that have a frequency, it is sound, and the cathedrals actually, the pipes were meant to heal people, which makes a lot of sense. Now you have crystal bowls, songs, and they took out all the bells.
Right.
And the bells of all, you had in every little county, you had very nice bells ringing.
Yes.
And I think they probably took them away, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really important. It's something I'm kind of new to reading about, but it's an example of something that's invisible, although you can hear some of these frequencies. So you can go online and watch people making music that will affect shapes, right? It'll turn like you're saying, dust or sand into a shape. And sometimes certain frequencies will create recognizable shapes. And I do believe these frequencies can help heal you. And I think if with your hypothesis of our genome being a frequency, that kind of makes sense with the idea of frequencies affecting it positively and negatively. And we're surrounded by negative frequencies a lot more today than we were 50 years ago, 100 years ago. So to tie that back in with CERN, like it seems like CERN could possibly be negatively affecting the invisible like tuning fork of nature, and disrupting reality.